Hello friends, in this particular video we are going to discuss the right content for this history optional paper. Look, in any optional paper, in UPSC Civil Services examination for any particular optional paper, the content is playing very important role. From which content or from which stuff you are going to prepare the optional paper, it matters a lot, right? And that is why we decided to come up with this video where we can discuss about the right stuff or the right material through which you can prepare this history as an optional paper, right? As far as this particular optional paper is concerned, right, irrespective of your background, academic background, you must go for certain things and certain amounts, certain materials through which you can prepare this this particular optional paper. Look, this is a sort of generalistic idea that whenever you are beginning from zero, you need to go for the NCERT materials, right? So the old NCERT materials, these are playing very important role to shape the base of your subject knowledge. So they are the NCERTs, the old NCERTs, the old NCERTs are playing very important role. As far as this old NCERTs are there, so basically these were in practice before 2003, right? And the ancient NCERT and the ancient Indian history, which was written by R.S. Sharma, the medieval Indian history, which was written by Satish Chandra, the modern Indian history, which was written by Bipin Chandra, right? And the world Indian history, which are there in class 9, 10th and 12th, these are written by Arjun Dev, right? So these are the basic materials that you must go for. And after that, right, because as I told you earlier that these materials are shaping the platform, right, the platform on which you can build the superstructures, and that is why these old NCERT materials are very important. After the old NCERT materials, there are now few books which are very important for as the content of history discipline or history as an optional paper. So as far as ancient India is concerned or the ancient Indian history is concerned, so there are two books which are playing very important role. The first book, which is called as Ancient India, written by D.N. Jha, right? This book is very important. This is a very thin book, right, and with less number of pages, but this book is somehow developing the conceptual understanding of the ancient India, right, or the ancient Indian history. The second book is very popular among the UPSC aspirants, and at the same time in the academic world. So that book is Upinder, the Ancient India, written by Upinder Singh, right? So the Upinder Singh, which is a very useful book for the UPSC syllabus. Why? Because this book is covering each and every dimension of ancient India, right? The confusions, the debates which are there in ancient India. It's a sort of bulky book, but this book is giving you a proper solution. But at the same time, while reading this book, you must remember one thing, that in this particular book, you'll find there are so many things which are irrelevant to UPSC. So while reading this book, you have to be very cautious that what are the things which are relevant for UPSC, and you must go for, right, only those sections of the book, the sections or the segments of the book which are irrelevant to the UPSC. These are not the stuff you should go for. So for ancient India, at least these two books which are very important. Now coming to the medieval India. The questions which are coming from medieval India still, very much simple, and that is why in medieval Indian history or medieval India, you need not to go for a number of stuff. But apart from the NCERT, the book which is written by Satish Chandra, that is supposed to be a very important book, and it is more or less covering the most of the part of the Sultanate and the Mughal period, right? The second book is the book of Jail Mehta, right? The third volume of Jail Mehta, which is dealing with the cultural aspect of the medieval India. And as you do understand, now the cultural aspect of the society is becoming more and more important in these days, and that is why you need to understand the cultural history in a more better way, and the sources which are also playing very important role, so you can understand even the sources from this particular source. So that is why it is supposed to be very important. Then the third part is the modern India. as far as this modern India is concerned, so there are two books which are playing very important role. For the generalistic understanding of the modern India, Bipin Chandra, The India's Struggle for Independence, is definitely the most important book. But the real, stuff or the material that you are getting just to write the answer is from the book of Shekhar Bandyopadhyay, From Palasi to Partition and After, right? So as I told you that this book is shaping the basic understanding of the modern India and India's struggle for independence. And the second book, which is giving you a complete analytical, information or discussion on modern India, that any particular event has been, any particular event or any particular topic has been, viewed by historians with many different directions or many different aspects, right? So in that particular manner, this book is playing very important role. Now, these two books could be supplemented from some other material, such as there is a book of, Yashpal Grover. So there are few, topics such as the topics related to the, the viceroys and the governor generals, the topics related to the, sort of different acts which were passing, right, or being passed, or the topics related to, some other things like the committees which were formed. So few areas could be supplemented from the book of Yashpal and Grover, or we can say Grover. Right? So that these are the three books which are playing very important role for the modern India, right? Now coming to the next section, that is modern world, right? So as far as this, modern world is concerned, so I think that there should be a clarity regarding the syllabus, that normally it is covering the modern aspects of the world or the modern part of the world, which is beginning from the Renaissance or the onwards, right? So there we can, discuss about two books which are very important. The first book, which is World History by Ranjan Chakravarti, right? And the second book, World Civilizations by Ralph and Burns. So these two books, look, Ranjan Chakravarti is more or less covering all the aspects, but there's a sort of, summarized discussion on all the topics. If you need some elaborated discussion on any particular topic, that could be supplemented from Ralph and Burns, right? So look, I have just given you a long details of the books, right? And apart from this, there's another thing which is very important for the complete syllabus, that is the MA IGNOU material, right? So the MA IGNOU material, the MA IGNOU materials are also very important these days. MA IGNOU material, right? Look, I have already given you a long list of the content, or from where you can get the content. But the thing is that I'm not suggesting you to go for all the books, right? You must go for the books as per your necessity. Look, there should be a base book, right? And you can make any book as your base book, right? And these informations which are there in the base book, that must be supplemented from the other books. Like, so I'm not suggesting you to go for all the materials from the page number first to page number last, right? So look, you just keep the syllabus in front of you, right? And try to gather information on each and every topic which has been given in the syllabus. So suppose you find that in, Bipin Chandra or in Shekhar Bandyopadhyay, there are few topics which are missing. So if the topic is missing and you find that particular topic in any another book, so now you're, what is your duty? That you just try to supplement those stuff, right, from the, the next book, right? Or from the another book. So while reading this, stuff, you should be very cautious that yes, there should be a base book, and the base book should be supplemented from the other materials or the other sources. As I was discussing about the MA IGNOU material, yes, this material is playing very important role. Definitely the nature of the UPSC questions are changing, every day, and now it is becoming a very competitive examination. So just by going through very simple books, now you cannot, write a very good answer of the UPSC questions or the questions in this particular optional paper. And that is why you need to extend the list slightly, extend the information slightly, and that could be supplemented through these books. So if you are aiming to target 300 marks in the optional paper, in that case these are the relevant sources or the relevant materials for the UPSC history optional for this UPSC Civil Services examination. Thank you.